Door-to-Door Con is right around the corner with Mastermind Day January 16th in Salt Lake City, Utah with Tim Grover, author of Relentless, and Michael Jordan's coach. You also have Mark Eaton, former NBA All-Star. January 17th and 18th at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, Utah, you have Ed Milet, Coach Burt, Tim Grover, and many more famous speakers and workshops on how to improve your leadership, sales, and recruiting. Register today, dddcon.com. For DDDU users, we have a DDDU after party Friday night. Don't miss out. Pre-register at doortodoorcon.com. All right, everybody, this is Sam Taggart with Coach Burt, the author of 14 books. He is the ultimate coach on extracting the prey, like making people have this ultimate prey instinct come out of people, and the coaching. And your motto is everybody needs a coach in life, right? Yes. And you've gone and coached businesses and CEOs and salespeople and managers and all these leaders. You've written all these books and been around the block, it looks like. We're here in Nashville, outside of Nashville. I want to say Nashville. What's the town called?
Yeah, Murfreesboro,
Murfreesboro. Yeah. That's a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. No. But we're here in his studio, and we're going to be diving in on what makes a good coach and why do people need a coach. And I really am excited about this concept. And I think that I agree with you when you say everybody needs a coach in life. You know, I was thinking about it with like movies, or you think of like any good movie, you watch like the Remember the Titans, and you watch any athletic film, then you go watch any kind of film. Like even Aladdin had a coach, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's like you think about it. So I'm really excited to dive in, and obviously speaking at Door-to-Door Con. So are you excited for that?
I'm very excited about that. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, big stage.
And where I'm just curious too. Where did you find me? How did you know? Did you see me somewhere?
I was walking down 7th Street, and then this guy looks really cool. You over on the side of the corner. You want to speak? No. I looked. I mean, I saw you spoke at 10X Con. Yeah. And I saw you speak at a couple other events. So I watched some of your YouTube videos, and I was like, I resonate. Good. I like them Southern accents. Yes. I like that. I like that little Bible Belt slur. I like I really resonate with your message and how we craft the speakers with Ed Milet, Tim Grover, you. We have Quint Pulver. Some of the, like we just said, what are all the principles that we want to hit on from the main stage that all complement each other? Yes. I don't want a ton of like, rah this and rah this and rah this, and it's like, dude, I'm almost hurt with the rah-rahs. I want like mentorship this, recruiting this, sales this, rah this. You know what I mean? And we kind of really crafted the concepts of what we wanted is really what really called us, and coaching is a big one. So we have you and Mark Eaton, who's a former basketball player. You coach basketball. He's the 7 foot.
Right. He's got he's a few feet taller than me.
You standing next to Mark's can be interesting. But both of you two are really speaking on team and coaching and kind of that importance of kind of the mentor and coach. So
sure. Great.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I do believe, of course, I spoke with Ed Milet at 10X. Tim Grover and I have become very good friends. We talk almost weekly. So it's just one of those things that I think it's a good lineup. I think what you put together is a quality lineup. And like you said, it's not just rah-rah. It's people who have real substance. They've built real businesses. They've done something, right? Yes. They've won something. They've achieved something. They've produced something. It's real people that are out there doing it, man.
No, and that's like one of the most important things is we didn't want any fluff. We wanted people that get it.
Totally agree.
So let's dive into this. Like, what got you into coaching basketball? I mean, that's kind of what your initial.
My initial, when I was very young, I was raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, and she used to take me down to a local baseball field while she was working her second job, and I would stay down there for hours and hours and hours. And it was coaches that tended to me, that fed me, that believed in me, that affirmed me. And one particular coach was a female coach named Mickey Vincent who was coaching Little League baseball, which was kind of odd, right? Yeah. She was the one female coach. It was a male.
It's like not normal.
Yeah, it was a male-dominated deal. But this woman really looked after me, cared for me while my mother was working at this job. Yeah. And she used to say to me as early as 6 years old, son, one of these days, you're going to be a great coach. She recognized
she said you were going to be the coach as a 6-year-old instead of like you're going to be a great player.
Yeah, she used to say to me, son, one of these days, when you grow up, you're going to be a great coach. And I went back many years later and said, how did you know that?
Yeah.
She said, you're always so curious. You were always directing and leading and guiding.
All your teammates are playing. You're sitting there playing the director.
Yeah. Like I was a great little player, but I was
more so.
But I really was concerned about the game and the potential of the other people as well. And so when I was in high school, my high school basketball coach called me professor. He said, the way you think, the way you analyze, you're always studying, thinking, and maneuvering. So I knew from an early age.
You know what my high school basketball coach called me?
What's that?
Coach Sam.
Oh, yeah.
I made a hat that said Coach Sam on it. Like they made it for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of what they said to you. It was because I thought I knew more than Coach.
That's fun.
So it wasn't a compliment. It was, Sam, shut up. Stop being trying to be coach.
I've coached some players like that.
Yes. So,
but that's kind of where it all started. So I heard this my whole life. I started coaching junior pro basketball, which was just 9 to 12-year-old kids. I was 15, and then I became an elementary coach at 18. I was recruited to the second largest high school in Tennessee, which happens to be in this city, when I was 19. So while I was going to college, I was already coaching. And that was very important. Now, that's also, there's an important part of the story there because I was introduced to Stephen Covey when I was 18. And I started reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I started studying the whole person theory. I started studying how to tap into the whole person, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And I began teaching my players those 7 habits, which was unheard of. No other coaches were doing these things.
Yeah, they're just saying run faster, shoot better.
The coaches didn't understand that there's more to a person than the body. The body is one component of a person's nature. This is very true in the sales world. You can have skill as a salesperson, but with no desire or prey drive, what I call prey drive, with the heart, what good is it to have knowledge with no desire? What good is it to have skill with no confidence? So when I learned this whole person theory, I began to go, okay, I can tap into all 4 parts of these players' nature. I can grow the body, that's skill, the mind, that's knowledge, the heart, that's passion, and the spirit, that's confidence. Okay? Now, if you look at salespeople out there in the world today, all over the world, if they are not producing, it is because they are deficient in one of those 4 components.
I love that because we always talk if they're not buying, they're not trusting the product, the company, like whatever, right? The price. And it's like, what do we think of in the sales process to say, how do you diagnose?
Exactly.
Are you a 10 out of 10 on confidence? Okay, we're a 7.
Exactly.
Let's fix that.
Yeah.
Where are you at on your, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, we had a sale today that the young lady on my sales team, when she explained this summit that I'm doing this weekend, the coaching summit, she explained it like this. And the person on the other end of the phone who was in Boston couldn't see enough value to spend that much money on the summit. It's $5,000 summit, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I got on the phone with him, I said, let me put this in a broader frame. Let me give you some more perspective on exactly what I'm going to be teaching. Let me show you how this is going to help you turn this into money quicker, right?
Yes.
Well, in one conversation with me, he was ready to buy. So what's the difference between me and her? My skill level is stronger than her skill level.
Exactly.
My experience is stronger than her. My confidence is higher than hers. Now, it's not lack of effort on her part. She's got the desire, right?
Yeah.
She's got the prey drive. She's trying to make the sale. She just needs more coaching and skill and confidence. And that's why I'm her coach. So my goal with her is to get her to $1 million of commissionable income. So I'm trying to get her, she's 25 years old, and I'm trying to get her to sell $1 million of coaching a year, right, at 25.
That's awesome.
And so I think I can get her right now to 600,000 or 700,000, but I'm coaching her every day. So I'm listening to her conversations. I'm giving her counsel. I'm going, you could do this. Let me explain what I said to him versus what you said to him. That when I learned the theory from Covey, now any of your salespeople that are going to come to this conference, we could sit there and diagnose, oh, this dude has got skill. He just don't have the effort. He don't make, right?
Yeah.
You don't knock on enough doors.
There's too many of those in our industry.
Oh.
Like too many of those.
Yeah. So here's the deal. What I say as a coach, I would say, Sam, help me to understand how much money you'd like to earn this year, and you give me a number. And I'd say, well, help me to understand why you're putting this kind of effort into it. Are you serious? On a scale of 1 to 10, Sam, how serious are you about making that much money?
Well, I'm serious.
Because it don't seem like you're that serious to me. Because you're telling me you're at a 7, I'm seeing a 2 or 3 effort. Your desire is not there, man. So what I try to do is take something real complicated and make it real simple.
Yes.
And that's what a good coach really does.
Yes.
So when I walk into a company or a sales team, I'm trying to take a complicated process and make it simple, man. Let's get better at these 4 things. Let's get better at this system. Then we can go sell more.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's break it down to the sales guy, because a lot of sales guys listen to this, and maybe this we can then apply it to the manager and the owner, because there's those people listening too. So no, not the sales guy. Let's apply it to the sales manager who's managing the sales guy.
Yes.
This is who I want to teach right here.
Okay. Yep.
Is I'm running a sales guy, and I can't seem to get him to stop being complacent. He's lazy. He's tired. He's never working. His efforts. What are some key conversations I can have?
Yep.
To help pull this prey drive out of him? Because I feel like a good coach, there's the true ability to activate that.
Yeah, and there's a big difference. I want to be known more as an activator versus a motivator.
Yeah, because I can motivate all day, but at the end of the day, it goes away real quick.
So I want you to think of prey drive as an instinctual ability to see something and have the fortitude to go get it. Like it's prevalent in dogs. A dog has a prey drive, right? And when that dog's prey drive is activated, I don't care how small that dog is or how innocent it seems, you would not want to be alone in the room with that dog.
Yeah.
Prey drive is the ability to stalk, chase, kill prey and bring it home, okay? So a good salesperson has a prey drive. I believe humans have prey drive.
Yes.
Now, the job of the coach, the manager, is to activate that prey drive. So then you step back and you start asking, what would activate the prey drive in that salesperson that's complacent? Well, if you study motivational theories, one motivational theory is satisfied needs never motivate a person, only unsatisfied needs. So if a person likes the car they drive, the house they live in, where their kids go to school, they're making a decent income, what would activate their prey drive? All of their needs are met. Their prey drive has been suppressed because everything is good. Why would I need any more, right?
Yeah.
So to activate prey drive, you have to understand the activators of prey drive. Competition is an activator of prey drive, right?
Yeah.
Inspired by other people is an activator of prey drive. Environments can be activators of prey drive. Compensation can be activator of prey drive. Fear of loss is a huge activator of prey drive. Meaning if I said, Sam, I'm looking at what you're doing, man, you're losing $250,000 a year by not doing these 3 things.
Yeah, by cutting out 2 hours of your day.
That's right.
Add that up over a year.
That's right.
You just forfeited a month.
That's right.
And how much more money? You know what I mean? That's $100,000 to you.
So the manager has got to understand these activators of prey drive because in each person it's different. For example, I was coaching a 61-year-old commercial real estate person in Boston yesterday, and she says to me, we do power hours, we do all of these things to incentivize who has the most phone calls. She's like, none of that activates my drive, coach. She said, I'm motivated to earn income so my son who's in college, I can give him some money and I can plan for my retirement. But these games we're doing do nothing for me. Well, they don't understand that one size does not fit all when it comes to activating prey drive.
Yeah.
A good culture. Now, this is very important for all your listeners and viewers. Like I'm coaching a culture in St. Louis, insurance culture, $25 million company. The owners are 33, 31, 28. $25 million. They're doing $100,000 a day. Okay. They saw me teach this concept of prey drive. There are 5 activators of prey drive. They found a way to include all 5 into their culture. They got competition, environment, fear of loss, compensation, right? Inspired by others. They've got all of these activators in their culture.
So they've ingrained like a system that's associated
that could
to each one of the 5.
That could touch all 5.
And it might be a couple different systems.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the call deal that they're doing, it's not that it's bad, but that's only one. Competition is only one activator. Like I'm a championship coach, but I'm not truly motivated by competition. It's an odd thing. I don't wake up and say I got to be number 1. Like who's number 1? Me, Grover, Milet, Cardone. Like that's not what motivates me. What motivates me is you coming to me going, we're going to go out there and do something big. And I need you right? Like I need your skill set to go do this. Like I'm motivated by process. Yeah. I'm motivated by let's set a big target. Let's move toward that target. And the process of moving toward it is actually a big motivator for me. But I'm actually motivated by fear of loss too.
Yeah, it's like, what if I die and I didn't accomplish what I was supposed to?
Or I've built a good life and I don't want to lose it. Or I like the house I live in. Or I like the jet that I fly on. Or I like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm motivated, like I've worked hard to build this. I don't want to lose it. So different people have different motivators of prey drive. Most managers, to your question, have never been trained even in how to activate prey drive.
No, it's like you go from sales guy to manager. That doesn't mean I know how to act. Like maybe internally I was a good sales guy, so that's why I'm a manager. But there's a difference between activating somebody else's prey drive than it is yourself.
Exactly. Like what does it for you may not do it for me.
Exactly.
So you telling me, like I ask direct questions to people. And I say, Sam, help me to understand this. Or you said you wanted to do this, but your effort is saying this. Like you're telling me this, but your body language is telling me this. Like help me to understand. Are you serious about making more money or not? Because if you're more serious, you'd be prospecting 2 hours a day. You'd be following up 7 touches in the follow-up, right? You'd be trying to get 6 referrals out of every deal you're currently doing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like to me you're that serious. It seems like to me you're serious about majoring in the minors. Like I ask very hard questions to people as a coach where they go, you're right. I do need to buckle down. Like with my salespeople, I just ask them direct questions. Like you told me this, but you're doing this, and I'm confused. Your effort's confusing me.
And the way that you're delivering that isn't coming off like rude. It's just saying you're saying this, and you're almost playing this whole kind of naiveness, or not like it's intentional, but it's like you're almost playing this. You're saying this, but dude, like. Your effort's showing you that, like, in the way that you're approaching it, it's kind of like helping them come to their own.
Here's the deal. I want to build high degrees of personal responsibility in my people. Yeah. Meaning, if Sam, you were on my team, when you're hitting your sales goals or trying to, you're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for my company. You're doing it for you and your family and your kids and your future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like everything, like I don't believe in tricks. I don't believe in, what I mean by that is I don't give away a lot of incentives or trips or a Starbucks gift card every day, or $100 if you do this. Here's the deal. I'm trying to build stone cold killing machines. All right. I'm trying to build people who have.
Who wants to build stone cold killing machines?
Man, that's what I'm trying to build. So I'm not interested in who's going to get a Starbucks gift card today. I'm interested in when you walk out of my office today, at the end of the day, Sam, the reward you get is your own personal satisfaction.
Yes.
That you crushed it. You don't need Coach Burt to tell you. You don't need a gift card. I'm just a believer that I know when I've had a good day and when I've had a bad day. I don't need some trinket or gift or trip. Like I want to earn enough income that I don't get a reward trip. I can pay for my own trips.
Yeah.
I don't need you to give me a reward trip.
I already have enough money to buy wherever I want to go because I'm a stone killer.
Yeah. Like I don't need you to like incentivize me with a trip. I need you to keep coaching me so I can earn more income.
Yes. I love that.
That's what I'm interested in.
So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's say I'm a sales rep and I don't have a great coach. I'm stuck in a situation where my manager maybe just never was trained. He was never really, he's trying. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm just simply saying he's not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Like I can't really rely on him. Like what advice would you give that sales guy?
Well, I believe that we are where we are today based on every choice we made up until today. Just because I have a lousy sales manager don't mean I can't hit my sales goals. There's plenty of sales collateral. There's plenty of things you can do. You can come to your conference. Yeah. You can watch YouTube videos. You can get in online academies. You can get in a coaching program. Like, I don't believe that the individual salesperson should blame it on the manager because they're going to have more bad managers than good ones.
Yeah.
I think it's
pretty common.
It's pretty common. So here's the deal. It's your life. This ain't no practice life, man. You can blame whoever you want to, right?
Yes.
Now, that's scenario A. Scenario B is get in an environment where you can thrive in.
Yeah.
Come work for a guy like me. Go work for a guy like Milet or Grover or Cardone or Sam Taggart, whatever. Go work for somebody where you can get apprenticed correctly. Because one mistake I see from the 20 to 30-year-old, now I'm 43 years old, right? I've been coaching for 27 years. One huge mistake I see the 20 to 30-year-old make is they have not been properly groomed for success.
And it's probably more common today's world than maybe 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because people want to fast track. They want the microwave mentality.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And they think I better just do it on my own first. And that's what I've been trained and taught.
Yeah.
Instead of the apprenticeship stage, that whole 4 year, like you think of medical school, there's this apprenticeship. It's you're in your residency. You're going from doctor to doctor. You know what I mean? And it's like in business, people aren't willing to do the apprenticeship aspect.
They need to go for the mentor over the money.
And so anyway, you don't know my background a lot, but I actually forfeited a way bigger opportunity and pay and a way higher pay, opportunity to just stay with my manager one more year. I was like, I just want to stay with you one more year. And he's like, okay. I was like, dude, like,
sure.
I just am learning so much and I'm willing to pay in potential income for the education.
Yes.
And I looked at that as my college, like kind of
there you go.
degree. Yeah.
But see, that's uncommon.
It's so uncommon.
That's unheard of.
Most people don't.
Most people want to come and they may want to work with me for a short period of time. Then it's like you go at such a pace, I can't keep up. And I didn't know it was going to be this hard. Like we run through 20 to 30 year olds like crazy, which is why I like the 25-year-old we have down there, because she's tough. I couldn't run her off.
Yeah.
She kept showing up. Even when she didn't hit her sales number, she just kept showing up. Where another person would come in and after a month, if they're not making high income, they want to quit. Yeah. They're like, this is hard. Like I thought it was going to be motivational every day. Like I thought it was going to be run Coach Burt every day. Like I'm like, we're running a business, man.
Yeah.
We got to sell something. Like I am motivational. But you mentioned something that triggered something in me. I'm intense, but I'm positive. I don't get negative when I get intense. Okay, a lot of people get negative. The more intense they get, the more negative they become.
They become more of like a tiger. Like it's like almost aggressive.
Like through fear.
Yeah.
They motivate through fear. I try to do it in a way where you go, that dude's right, man. I do need to work harder. I can get better. I can reach my goals. He's fighting for me, right? Like if you study the NFL, 26% of the players in the NFL said they had any coach they could play for is Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And they ask, is he, because he's always clapping and upbeat and patting people on the back and he looks like he's having fun, right? And they ask his players, is he easy to play for? And every player's like, no. Like he has the most incredible expectations you can imagine. But he's intense and he's positive, which is why so many players want to play for him. He gets he's won a Super Bowl. He gets maximum numbers out of his people, but he does it in a different way that I got to stand over there and be miserable or yell or cuss at everybody. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a Pete Carroll.
I like that.
I'm upbeat. I'm positive. I'm friendly.
But I'm not afraid to get intense.
But I will get in your grill.
So here's a common thing in our industry. Managers are afraid to get intense and get true coaches in fear of running their sales guys off and it's so cutthroat, so competitive, so, well, I'll just go to this company, so threatening, or, oh, if you don't pay me this, or if I don't, if you treat me like it's so finicky. And this is a problem in our industry where guys are afraid to truly get intense with their people. And so they don't in fear of losing their sales guys, like they're good ones.
Listen, I was a championship coach. I built a national championship culture. Here's what I would tell you, and here's what I tell those people. Anytime I play not to lose, it always guaranteed losing. When you play from a position of scarcity, holding on to everything, like I can't lose it. You understand what I'm saying? What you do is you start making very bad decisions. You need to play to win. Okay? So if I push the people down there and they leave, so what? There's 7 billion people. I'll get more. Like I'm only looking for people that are looking for me, man.
I love that. I literally just did a speaking event here, and I trained on recruiting, right? So recruiting is a big pillar in our business. And literally everybody was like, well, I just don't want to recruit my competition, or I don't want to train my competition. Yeah. And I'm like, so you're not going to recruit because you don't want to train somebody that maybe will leave you one day? Right. You're like 3 steps ahead of yourself, dude.
It's such a low level.
Yeah.
That's a low frequency thought.
Oh, I was like, I literally, when they said that to me, and it was like, everybody was like, yeah, I'm like rallying around this guy. And I'm like, no wonder none of you have teams bigger than 5.
It's such a scarcity mindset. Because I was scripted by Covey, you're either scripted in scarcity or abundance.
Amen.
Okay. Scarcity is, like I said, there's not enough. We're in competition with everybody. If you get a piece, it's taken away from my piece. The reality is there is no shortage of anything. Here's an example. It's like the ocean. You could get a teaspoon or a 20-gallon bucket, and the ocean don't care. It's infinite. Where does air stop out there and start in here? It's everywhere. So, right? So there's no shortage of money. There's no shortage of opportunity. There's no shortage of anything. There's a shortage of creativity. There's a shortage of courage. There's a shortage of confidence. Like those are low confidence, insecure people making those statements.
I love
like I got to hold on to everything. When I was coaching, you're taking me back to my old days here, because when I was
love it.
When I was a basketball coach, after my first 3 or 4 years, I poured all this time and energy into these players, and they opened up a new school because our city was growing. At one time, this city was the 6th fastest growing city in the United States. Okay, it's outside of Nashville. It's booming. And so some of the players wanted to leave and go to the new school because they could start. Maybe they're on the bench for me, and now they can go over here and start, right? Mm-hmm. And at first, I just freaked out because I was a young coach. I'm like, why would you leave? And oh my gosh, here goes all my bench and scarcity. And then I made up my mind, no. We have everything we need to whip your butt, right? And here's what I told them: you can go over there if you want to, but we're gonna whip you.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna start as my bench, therefore I still win.
That's right.
It's like,
and then I made up my mind: we don't need you. If you want to go over there, go over there. Well, it's such a defining moment for me because I figured out some of the people you think you need in your life you don't need. Okay, there's all the resources you need are in your network right now, right? You don't need. Like I had dinner with Tim Story last night. He's one of my good friends.
Is he here? Where were you?
He was in Nashville today speaking.
What the heck?
Tim Story, yep.
I literally listened to his and Ed My Let's podcast,
there you go.
and it I almost cried. Like the guy seems freaking like
a
baller.
He is. And so he was
2021.
He was in town. He'd be a great person for you.
Yeah.
He was in town. He called me and said, let's have dinner. And we had a great dinner last night. But here's the deal. I just see all these connections that we have. And he was like, Tim was telling Mylette the day before, he's like, man, you got to get to know Coach Burt better. Y'all are, you know what I'm saying? Like, Story was with Mylette, and he was saying, man, I was telling Mylette, you two need to be together more. And it's just, we're all one person away from a new season in life.
Yeah.
One connection. There's no shortage here is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I was trying to get a number today from, different people, like Jordan Belfort. Today I was trying
to text you his number.
Yeah, just text.
I got you.
Yeah, text me his number. See,
there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like, I'll text you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so my point is, because he spoke at your conference, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So my point is, I want to have him on Person of Interest. I can be on his show, whatever. But the concept is, it's out there.
Yeah,
it's available to us. Quit playing scared. It's unattractive.
I love it.
It's unattractive.
So we're short on time. So I wanna ask a couple last little quick questions,
Sure.
just to kind of rapid fire. If you were to give, the 10-year-old version of you, or maybe like the 20-year-old version of you, let's go back to 20-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
What would have you told him, knowing what you know now? What would have you told?
There's two things. Those are easy for me. One is, I didn't have any real business coaching from 20 to 30. I was a basketball coach. I didn't know the difference between an asset and a liability. I wish I had had great business coaching, because where I am today is good, but where I really could have been.
Had you accelerated a little bit more the business side?
In the business side, okay? The second thing is, when I become a head coach early in my career, I was very selfish. I was very focused on me, my program. I didn't care about the football team and this team. And so I really wasn't an ambassador for them. So instead of building advocates and allies and friends and people fighting for me, I really kind of kept to myself. I was focused inward. And if I had to go back and tell the 20-year-old coach, I'd say, man, support everybody. Love on the football team. Now, the same thing is true here. Like get out in the world and build advocates.
Yeah.
Fight for people. Support people. Don't be don't be so self-centered and self-absorbed that it's all about you. Okay? Just promote and believe. And people ask me all the time, what did you think about these two dudes getting in an argument with each other? I'm like, man, I like both of those dudes.
Yeah,
both of them bring something to the equation. I have mad respect for them because I don't want to get caught up in feelings and dramas, and it's small time to me. We're majoring in the minors. This dude's a world-class dude.
Minors.
This dude's a world-class dude, and this dude's a world-class dude. And they may not like each other for whatever reason, but it's okay. It's okay, man. Learn something from both of them.
And you said something else, like you get involved in the football, even though you're the basketball program. Say, how do I have my hand in a few things and be out there? Like, it's so funny. I was reading some of your book titles. Even it's Swing with a Monster, Accountable Church, which is for church people, I'm assuming. Swag, which is confidence. You got The Anatomy of Winning, which is more, I'm assuming,
sports related, how to build cultures.
You have Inside the Monster's Mind, which, you know what I mean? There's so different niches. You have 3 different podcasts to be kind of, hey, like I'm touching on religious to this,
right.
to that. And I think there's something to be said where so many people are like, just be in your own little like corner.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, how do you impact the most amount of people if your corner's really small?
Yeah.
Like,
and the reality is, I believe in intentional congruence. And intentional congruence is where everything feeds everything.
yes.
I do not separate out my faith and my personal life and my work life. It's all one life. It's one integrated life, okay? So I may be in Boston one day talking to Christian leaders on my book, The Accountable Church, and the very next day speaking to a multi-level marketing company, and the very next day speaking to hedge fund managers. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, to me, it's all one deal, man. It's just one deal. I don't separate this out. It all goes back to coaching. At the end of the day, the intentional congruence is it all goes back to my belief that everybody needs a coach in life.
I love it.
I wrote the book for churches because my pastor asked me to coach him one summer. And he said, man, I was giving him all these strategies we use over in the coaching world. And he's like, well, our church is not doing any of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, your church is just a structure. You're trying to build something dynamic where people come back over and over and over and over, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. So if there's tactics we're using that you're not using, would you be open to use them? He's like, you got to write a book on this. And I resisted. I'm like, man, I'm not a pastor.
Business, yeah.
I'm not a pastor. I'm not qualified to write a book for churches. And it's interesting that this book is that there's a hungry group of pastors out there who are going, this is what we need to be reading. This is what we need to hear. This is what we need to be
That's not
thinking.
being taught. Yeah.
That's right. It's just I call it vuja day. And
Vuja day.
yeah, it's not deja vu.
Love that.
Deja vu is where you've heard something before, seems comfortable. Vuja day is where you bring a new way of thinking to an old perspective. It's like I'm bringing a twist. Like I'm like as a churchgoer my whole life. Me and Tim Story had a fascinating conversation about this because he started Congregation Church, and so he said, I got to help you get this book in Christian leaders' hands around the country. That's the correlation Mylette and I have together.
I love that.
That's kind of the common bond between those three speakers at 10X, between me and Mylette. And
me
Tim
and
Story.
Mylette's podcast, it was at the end we started jamming religion for a while.
Yeah,
so
yeah, man.
I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being on the show, and I'm excited for you
Absolutely.
to come out in January. And
Man, I'm
hometown,
so
Salt Lake
honored.
City,
I'm
DDD,
excited. I appreciate you. I knew the first time you and I talked that you were a genuine dude, and I looked at some of your past conferences, and I think this is going to be a great conference. If you're out there and you're thinking about coming to this conference, I'm telling you, you will get your money's worth. I've looked at the speakers. I've looked at the lineup. I just think, man, come out and enjoy Salt Lake, right?
Yeah.
Come out and enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's a
enjoy
beautiful
it.
place.
Yeah.
So go with us. I'm going to be there. Some of my team members are going to be there. My wife's looking at going there with me. So it's all a good thing. We're excited.
Love it. Well, thanks so much for being on the show,
Thank you,
man.
man.
And
Thank you.
Thank you. Much love, guys. We'll see you.
I'm Coach Michael Burt, and many years ago I wrote a book called Person of Interest, and the book was intended to be a roadmap for me to become a person of influence, and it was from an aspirational place, right? Like, I'm young, I want to build a business that's attractive, and so I sit down on a napkin one day. We have these Cracker Barrels here in Tennessee. I don't know if you have those in Salt Lake City.
The French toast.
Okay.
Too good.
So we said, I wrote down on a napkin, I want to become a person of interest. I want to attract.
Was it while you were playing the little like tea game?
Yeah.
The triangle tees.
Yeah, man, because that's what you do at Cracker Barrel, right?
Yep.
But the concept is big. So I've got this podcast, and I thank you for being in Tennessee. I've got Sam Taggart here, right? Mm-hmm. And he started a movement. And I believe people of interest, that's one thing they do. They create new things. They go to new places. They inspire people, right? Like, people of interest are out in the world doing it.
Yeah.
They ain't talking about doing it, Sam. They're doing it. So let's talk about this movement. You started as a door-to-door salesman?
When I was 11.
11 years old. What were you selling?
I started doing like little magazines, and then I got into painting the addresses on the curbs, and I did that all through high school. I had 11 of my buddies working for me. We called ourselves the Guttermen, spray painting the numbers, and did it all through high school. And I'd never done anything other than knock doors.
So how many years total? How old are you now?
29.
So you've been doing that 18 years. So when you study mastery,
Yep.
10 years, dedicated practice, did you have coaching along the way?
Yes.
Great mentorship?
A lot of good coaches.
Okay. So here's what's interesting about this door-to-door thing is that some of the most successful people I have ever worked with, I'm talking about people worth hundreds of millions of dollars. When I asked them, what's 2 things that you did to help you get here? You know, almost everyone says they sold books door to door for Southwestern.
Yes, great company.
And they went to a Dale Carnegie course, right? I'm talking about even older generation. I'm talking about like 70-year-old dudes, right? And they said, Coach, number 1, I sold books door to door for Southwestern. And number 2, I went to Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people and how to publicly speak. So when you were growing up 11 years old, what's the value? Because I have a 7-year-old daughter, okay? And we just announced last night that we're having a second child.
Boom,
so
baby.
Thank you. So excited about that. And I'm a coach. Talk to all the people out there about the value of learning how to go door to door at 11 and how to sell and how to overcome objection and rejection. Like how powerful is that?
It is. The whole reason I started this movement is because I look at, there's a book called The Vanishing American Adult.
Okay.
And it's all about this generation of people that fail to communicate. Like there's this communication deficit.
Yes.
And I look at what I'm starting and the movement that I'm creating is to help advocate door-to-door selling, simply because it's my way to give back to the younger generation of saying, you need to get your feet like wet and cut your teeth in rejection and hard work and communication and belly to belly conversation on a consistent basis with strangers, because the education, in my opinion, and I've heard this quoted in many different aspects, is 1 year in door-to-door sales is the equivalent of a college degree in business.
I can see that.
And you look at like what you learn just being out there facing rejection and like what you learn about yourself, you know, like, can you be somebody who gets back up on your feet after they get yelled at? And you know what I mean? Like, and so that's one of the biggest things that I'm pushing. So we're actually going with our nonprofit. So we started a door-to-door association and we're meeting with colleges and creating sales degrees and, you know, things like that, just because it's the heartbeat of the economy. If you think about it, like, you know, it's one form of selling, but it's also one of the most pure forms of selling.
Nice. Let's go back to something you said. What are your personal thoughts about rejection? Because I have a very strong belief about rejection that I learned when I was 25 years old, okay? And before I tell you my belief, I want to hear, because I have a kids academy, an online academy for kids.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the things I cover in there is how to handle objection and rejection, because I think kids don't know how to handle that.
No, and I think
what's your personal thought about rejection?
Well, I think it's almost like the liberal movement. I don't even know if it's liberals. I mean, I'm not trying to get political, but it's almost this lately there's been this fear to allow kids to get rejected. And that's a big part of this vanishing American adult. It's this stoic that is being suppressed because they don't allow people to be rejected. It's almost like we all want participation trophies. And I saw this YouTube video of invisible soccer being played, and I'm like, you're playing soccer without the ball. Like, just because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like, I think rejection is the fastest way to build somebody's character. And it is the fastest way to realize true progression, because without rejection, there's no way for you to develop any kind of skill. You know, you look at like even working out, you have to break your muscle, karate, you have to, like, you know, you just look at each thing, you have to get knocked down to actually learn something. So I embrace it. Like,
well, it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because I agree with you. Could it be possible that the worst year of your life is actually the best year of your life?
And usually you look back and it is.
And it is. So when I was 25 years old, I thought I was going to marry this person that I said, I just know this is the woman I'm supposed to marry. So I buy an engagement ring, and before I give her the engagement ring, we break up. Okay. And it was a real sad story. I put the engagement ring at a bank, you know, in a lockbox, and then our relationship deteriorated. And then the day I knew I thought we were going to break up, I went and got the ring. And I went to a restaurant with her, and she says, Michael, I love you, but I don't love you enough to marry you. Oof. And I was depressed, man. Felt so rejected, thought this was the woman. I harbored so much guilt. What did I do? How did I do it? And I was depressed for 6 months. Now, I tell you that because during this period a person comes along in my life, this beautiful Italian woman named Octavia Fontana. I write about her in one of my books. And she said, the way you're looking at this is all wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean? I wanted her. She did not want me, right? That's rejection. And she said, no, she may want something different than what you have to offer. But there will be lots of people that want exactly what you have.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And she said, you can't. She said, I'm interested in you. This beautiful Italian woman. She said, but you can't see it because you're living in the past thinking about her.
Yeah, it's that whole selective amnesia and perspective. And oftentimes when we have the wrong perspective around rejection, it's kind of like the Michael Jordan quote. It's like I've missed way more game shots. I've missed way more, you know what I mean? And I get all this accolade.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is because of that fear of rejection or the anxiety that is around what if I got rejected,
right,
it paralyzes people to not shoot, to not take a chance, to not knock.
It's fear.
It's fear.
It's scarcity.
And so it's kind of like, well, just realize that you're going to get rejected if you don't try.
Some will.
Some will, some won't. It's just
what?
part of life.
Keep on moving.
Keep on moving.
Now let's talk about this movement because I'm very fascinated by this. You have created a movement, like you see a need in the market.
Yes.
Universities need to have door-to-door sales skills, right?
Yep.
We need professional associations. And you just are taking action on it.
Just doing it.
Like, hey, here I am, right? Where did that come from in you? Where did this pray drive come from in you? Was it the way you were raised? Was it exposure to certain things growing up? Where would you say? Because people of interest, I've never met a lazy person of interest. Now, Bradley and I disagree about this. My buddy Bradley, he says, I've met plenty lazy people of interest, right? And I'm like, he thinks he's lazy. And I'm like, no. You get up at 4:30 in the morning. You're at light speed all day. You're having conversation for 10 hours. You're in there working on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like you're willing to go anywhere in the world to promote your brand. Like that's not lazy, man. In comparison to how he thinks I work, he says, you work hard. I'm lazy, right? Here's my point. I don't think people of interest are lazy. They've got a prey drive.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting question. I've since a little age, I grab golf balls, go to the golf course and sling those. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm not very competitive. Like I'm competitive in the sense of it's internal. It's not like I want to beat you. It's more so like I just know I have greatness within. And so I get competitive with myself. Like I guess I'm really just passionate about progression.
Yeah.
And I feel like if something is trying to clip my wings or suppress me, and since starting my own couple businesses, I have a couple software companies and some other stuff. And, but I found that I am an addict to almost creation.
Yeah.
And it's like when I feel like I'm in creation mode and creating new things, I get almost like a high, and I maybe just become addicted to that. You know what I mean? It's this addicted to creating and watching your creation kind of come alive and the impact that it makes. And so that to me, like I always just liked, one, impacting others and kind of this, what can I do to be my very best? And then also kind of this creation is.
Well, I believe we're creative beings.
Yeah.
And I think we're unhappy when we're stagnant. We were hardwired to create, produce, move, right?
Yes.
Circulate, make something happen.
I think the world kind of suppresses like normal jobs and that's maybe why I love door to door, and that's why I'm advocating it. There's no ceiling. You can make as much as you want. If you want to work as hard, there's 1,000 homes just a mile down the street.
So let me ask you this: the top money earners in door to door, what do they earn?
Oh, $1 million, $2 million. I mean, you can make 7 figures
selling.
What are we
solar,
selling? Roofs, satellite, pest
and
control,
they get up
alarms.
every day. How many doors do they knock on?
I mean, the good ones, 200, 300 doors a day. You know what I mean?
Day.
It's they know how to knock. Like,
is it? I mean, it sounds physically taxing. Like it's got to be emotionally and physically taxing.
It is. Why do people not do it? I always say door to door is the most efficient way to do business.
Okay.
Inefficient because I have to take my physical body into the cold, into the hot, into the blood, sweat, and tears, and I have to grind.
Yeah.
Like it is a physical, mental rejection all second, you know what I mean? Grind.
Yeah.
But it's inefficient in the sense of, marketing. I could do a funnel and hit more people at the same time and this and that. But if we had a race, me and you race, we have to sell a product. and you go try to put some ad together and this and that and this and do some funnel and some drip campaign and this and that. And it's like, let's do a race to see who can go sell a roof or an alarm or a whatever. I would win hands down if you sent me out in the streets and you said, let's go build some marketing thing. And I think too often, it's simple in business. So many people complicate the business metrics.
Yeah.
Opportunities.
Right.
And closing percentage.
Right.
The more of each of those and the more people doing it equals more revenue.
Right.
So if I can build a monster team that's talking to more people about a product,
right,
and I can have a good closing percentage, well, that's what creates business. And I think so many businesses, they overcomplicate that. You know what I mean? There's hundreds of consumers out there, whether it's B2B, door to door.
So I was thinking about this concept. You've seen the Belfort Cardone interview.
Yep.
What was your thoughts about that?
I loved. Well, Belfort spoke at D2D Con.
Yeah.
So
was he good?
He actually crushed it. So Grant Cardone, this is what's funny. He spoke the first year.
Okay.
Except not for us down the hall. An alarm company.
Oh wow.
Says, you know what? Door to door con's going on the week of Door to Door Con. Just because I was their top rep I won't say names, but I was a big poster child there. I left them, and out of spite, they booked the room down the hall from Door to Door Con.
Oh wow.
And they bring Grant Cardone in.
Yeah.
Just to say, we're going to try to recruit at this event. It was a very lose. We win, you lose. Yeah. Let's try to mess with this.
Sure.
And anyway, so Cardone gets up there and just starts making fun of everybody. And it was like very low energy. It was coming from a place of not good. And Cardone's great. I love his books and stuff. Right. And Belfort came from a place of very repentant, it was very humbling. I wasn't a huge fan of dealing with some of the logistics and stuff, and there was whatever. Sure. But at the end of the day, I gained a new respect for Belfort.
Wow.
And so I've interacted with them both quite a bit, and both of them have been involved in Door to Door Con. And but watching how Cardone and Belfort interacted, I said, when it comes to sales skills, you could tell Belfort was very much more poised. I hated, I'm going to pick a side on that. Sure. I love them both.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was awesome to kind of watch them navigate this.
I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great interview. I had my sales team watch it multiple times because there were some solid takeaways.
There was some solid
on both sides of the equation. It's it's like, hey, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I understand. I also get that Cardone is in a season of life of transitioning from a salesman to a businessman.
I agree.
And he wants to talk about running a business.
Yes.
He don't want to talk about selling. He's done that for 30 years.
Yes. And I saw that side, and I'm like, but you're trying to take things out of context. That's why I was like, stay in it.
Yeah.
Do this for the sales guy, because the sales guy sees this out.
And who knew?
Yeah.
As we're talking about this concept of person of interest, I mean, the interview drove up both of their person of interest scores.
100%.
Because it created controversy and it created all of these things. But, I'm really impressed by the movement that you have going. And I think I applaud you for being such a young guy and you're trying to tackle such big goals. To me, that is what a person of interest does. They don't talk about it, they are about it. So let's finish by talking about your conference, because I think it takes some guts to have a conference. It takes some guts, man. Well, I speak at these conferences all over the world, and I've even looked at having my own conferences, like Monster Nation conferences, and I'm doing events. Tim Story and I are going on tour next year, like 8 cities, but I think it takes some real guts to say, I'm doing it, man. I'm putting it on. Tell everybody about this thing.
You're gonna laugh or not believe me how it all started. Okay. I mean, I'm on a meditation retreat, 3 days fast in the desert.
Ooh,
I'm talking solo, by yourself, dropped off, no food, no just. Yeah, I'm I don't know why I'm in this place in the first place. This is a terrible situation to be in. Let's be real. And so I'm like, what did I get myself into?
Yes.
And it's day 2, and I'm sitting there, and I have a vision, and I'm not a visionary guy. I literally am not. I'm not I don't dream. I'm not I'm not a big dreamer kind of guy in the first place. Big goals. I'm gonna have a jet one day. I'm very pretty realistic guy. And I have this vision of me speaking on this massive stage. And I was like, where the hell is that?
Yeah.
And I still have not spoke on that stage. So I still vividly remember what the stage looked like, what the people audience looked like. And I was like, we're still not there yet. But I kept asking, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Because it's not, I was running a solar company. And anyway, it was you need to host an event.
Yeah.
And for door to door. and you need to give it a good name. You need to start this movement. You need to, like, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm the guy? Why me? It's kind of one of those chosen moments of like, wait, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I better take action. That was very potent. That was very real. So I called a buddy. I was like, let's do this. And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I go on Facebook Live because that's my version of, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it then.
Right.
Just like run a marathon. I said I was going to run a marathon. Okay, I have to do that now. I'm a man of my word. And so I get on Facebook Live. I'm going to host this event. It's going to be cool. And then people started to be like, yeah, that's way awesome. I thought of that idea. This is great. And then half the people were like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It will be a murder fest. They will kill each other because our industry is so cutthroat.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a recruitment frenzy.
Yeah,
like,
got you.
Hell no, I'm never coming, never supporting this. It's very controversial. Still is today.
Oh, wow.
Very controversial.
Okay, good.
Like it is. I'm a no hate. Like I hate that concept because I don't want my sales guys to go there and get recruited.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's called scarcity. And then there's the other half that are abundant. Are like, no, we all can learn. We can all, rising tides lifts all ships, right?
Yeah.
So there's the split, which is fun. And we just launch it. And all of a sudden I'm thinking maybe we could get 400 or 500 people. We had 850 people our first year.
Nice.
1650 our second year.
Wow.
And this year on track to have 3,000 people.
There we go.
You're speaking at it, and Ed Milet and Tim Grover, and the speakers just get better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I think that people are seeing that unity instead of scarcity and cutthroatness is much more energetic and fulfilling.
Right.
And I think people are seeing that rising tides do lift all ships. And what's beautiful is seeing companies co-create instead of compete, seeing companies share business and share strategies instead of hide their secrets. I don't want to tell my competitor what I'm doing. It's like, are you effing kidding me? Like, you want, and it's just, watching how beautiful it is to see people play in abundance and at the highest level I feel honored just to be part of that. You know what I mean? I just happen to be the catalyst that sparks that.
It's inspiring, man. That's person of interest status. So thank you for coming to Tennessee. I'm excited about being with you at your conference.
Yeah, January.
Yeah, tell everybody where they can get tickets.
D2DCon.com, D2DCon.
Yes.
And if you're not doing door-to-door, in my opinion, if you're in sales or leadership or recruiting or building teams, it's just a sales conference. It just happens to be called D2DCon.
That's right.
I mean, it's powerful.
And there's some good people. I'm telling you, we'll get your money's worth at this conference. Sam is doing it right. So go to Salt Lake City. Spend a couple days. It's a beautiful city. I love it there.
Ski season's prime right there.
Yeah, man, it's the deal. You need to be there. Sam Taggart, everybody, person of interest. We believe people of interest move the world down the field. We believe they have certain ingredients, and we believe they don't talk about doing it. They go do it.
Love it.
And they inspire people. So thank you, big guy. I look forward to being with you.
Thank you.
Knocking, knocking.